Hey everybody, welcome to Monday. Pretty exciting weekend in football. That was good. Kept all the bad shit out of my TV for a while anyhow. Oh, where do I start? All right, there's a rumor running around that FIFA might pull the games from the World Cup games from the United States and give them to Mexico and Canada because of the immigration problems they're having. I don't know about that, but I think Trump's head would come off if he did that. I think his head would absolutely explode. And what's her name? Kristi Noem, was it, that said she's sending all kinds of ICE agents to the Super Bowl this year because Bad Bunny's appearing. Let me tell you something about Trump and the NFL. Trump has hated the NFL since the 1980s when he applied for a team and was rejected not very nicely for being involved in casinos. I'm going to say it could have been the 70s, late 70s, before, just as the USFL came out, because he had to buy he bought the New Jersey Generals and proceeded to run them into the ground because he wanted to be in the league and they wouldn't let him in the league. You know, even when they sold that league to the NFL, it merged or sold or whatever, however you want to put it, and all the superstars went over there. He couldn't get in, and Herschel Walker's contract prevented him from moving right away because his contract wasn't with the team. Didn't prevent him because his contract, or did, I forgot what happened anyhow, but his contract was what they call a personal services contract, and I think he's still getting paid by Trump to this day. So that's why there's a big brouhaha over Bad Bunny and everything else that's going on. But the story that I got was originally when I read something in Rolling Stone about it, they were fairly certain that Taylor Swift was going to get the halftime show, or should get the halftime show, because it's Travis Kelce's probably last year with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs aren't going to the Super Bowl. At least nobody thinks they are. Don't know about that. But anyhow, so, they put Bad Bunny in, and all of a sudden, everybody's upset. They're screaming because he's going to do, no songs will be in English. Did you know that? What's a rapper? Who cares? You can't understand these people when they get up on stage. And I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of audio problems with that, and transmission problems and everything else with that halftime show. Sabotage courtesy of you-know-who, the little fat orange-haired guy. Putting ICE agents in the stands and everything else, parading around. Now here's a problem facing Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny canceled his U.S. shows prior to doing his 37 shows or whatever it was in Puerto Rico. His residence in Puerto Rico, which is a total success, by the way. But he canceled all his American shows because he was afraid of ICE agents showing up outside. Now they're going to be in the stands. This could be probably one of the worst televised Super Bowls of all time, and I guarantee you it's not going to be the Chiefs, and it's not going to be the Eagles probably. It's going to be like Miami versus Pittsburgh or something like that, teams that we really don't care about. They're not perennial Super Bowl teams. They're not perennial powerhouse teams, But we'll have to wait and see what shapes up with that one. There's also another nasty rumor that FIFA is considering pulling the games out of America and putting whatever games are scheduled in either Mexico or both Mexico and Canada. Now, understand this. There's billions of dollars going to be lost. Prestige, everything. Although Trump doesn't really consider what we call soccer a sport, you know, and he will not call it football. Believe me, he won't. The difference is in the spelling. The rest of the world spells football F-U-T-B-O-L. We spell it F-O-O-T-B-A-L-L. Okay? That's the distinguishing between the names. There's plenty of distinguishing characteristics between the game itself, you know, the objective of the game. But the objective of the game is in both cases, is to go a certain distance and score a goal. Well, you know, I don't see Trump letting that go pretty quick. You know, he's kind of a dickhead when it comes to stuff like that. And then he's got this, you know, I think that's why I think the NFL is making a big mistake going overseas with their games. Because if you take what you're doing is you're essentially taking a home game away from the. That's what they've done so far. They've taken a home game. Depending on one of the teams loses a home game, and the other one gets it's just another away game for them. But apparently one of them loses a home game, and that costs the team money. Transportation is costing them money. The ticket holders that had tickets to that game and that all of a sudden find out it's in London, especially season ticket holders, if they're rich enough, that doesn't bother them. But that pisses off a lot of people. And that's all they're doing. The NFL's pissing off people. Trump's pissing off people because, you know, this. I have to tell you, you really want to see some spectacular head explosions. If something happens with the Super Bowl, or he's hoping they get rid of Bad Bunny, but let's say they don't, Trump's head will explode. If they take FIFA, takes the World Cup out of the United States, Trump's head will explode. Okay? Those are the good things about that. You know what I'm saying? That's just friggin' amazing. I just, you know, can't figure that out at all. Where are we going now? We were going to MSNBC. All right, let's take a look over there. But those are the two big stories. There was a rabbi that was assaulted Saturday in New Jersey, quite near where I used to live in New Jersey. I heard this, and now I don't know what day this happened, but I don't remember talking about it on Saturday when I was on the air, where in Chicago, the ICE agents came out of helicopters, put, what do you call those, zip ties on children, separated parents and children right away. And the fact that they all got out of there without getting killed just amazes me, because that's not a real friendly town when they get pissed, you know. So we'll have to wait. That was definitely a horrible situation there, because that's not police work. That's, I don't know what you call it. Not even secret police did that shit, you know. Oh, I think towns should start doing what, I forget what town did it. I don't know whether it worked or not. But no masks by law enforcement, okay? Unless it's, you know, unless there's a gas attack or something like that, they're not allowed to put gas masks on. But they have to be able to identify themselves. They have to have, I would make them as they try to enter the town, and that's why, I guess, why they probably used helicopters in Chicago, is because I would demand that they show their faces and some sort of ID and paperwork issued that they can arrest who they're looking for. They said there were several arrests of people in Chicago that weren't the people they were looking for. Okay? Because it was just mass confusion. Utterly mass confusion. I just, you know, I'm not happy with that situation at all. beginning to agree. Some people are saying that this is, there's not a peaceful solution to this problem in the United States. And they may be right. But if he keeps going the way he's going right now, okay, with the stuff he's doing right now, by Christmas I'll be off the air. And I'll be lucky if they don't send somebody down here to come after me, But I'm old enough I don't give a shit. Where are they going to deport me to? The United States? I'm already out of the country. So, I don't know how much of my stuff is getting through to the United States anymore, or how much we'll get through later on. But there's enough of us expats around the world that we can create some serious problems for Donald Trump, publicity-wise. Can't do anything physical because he's not near us, but I still say this. I said this when he got elected the first time, that's one man I cannot meet. I don't know whether I'd be able to restrain myself, even at my age, because I dislike that man so much. And his family doesn't even like him. His daughter, I don't think his daughter likes him anymore. She's kind of been quiet and in hiding lately. I don't know whether that's just because nobody's following her around anymore or what, But I don't think she gets to go out too much anymore either. Because of, the fascists are male-dominated. Family life is male-dominated, so we don't know what's going on there. Now, where am I? What should I do next? Oh, football-wise, some great games, man. I mean, I'm talking about some great games. Tampa Bay pulled out one. The game last night. The last game of the afternoon in the early sessions. I mean, it was just an amazing set of games going on, Very, very exciting. This has happened in years past, but by the time you get around, usually it's the playoffs are the most exciting games, but the playoffs, the one year that this was really going on was probably the worst playoff series that I've seen in the NFL. So, what are you going to do? What else is happening? I don't know. Let me see something here. Let me see if we can do this. Okay, that's gone. This is coming over here. Let's try this. As I said, those stories about FIFA, they're coming off of YouTube. I heard this about 2 months ago too. I can't. Jesus. I can't verify any of this when I go around and check the major websites. I don't see anything there. But this is the first time that stories like that have come out, and I don't see them anywhere, They're only on YouTube or someplace like that. Oh, Christine Maxwell, Epstein's partner, isn't getting her appeal. That's Trump doesn't pay attention to the law at all, and I'm sorry, but something's got to be done about that. He doesn't care what level the court is that goes after him. He doesn't care. He's going to do whatever he wants to do anyhow. I think he has the right to do that. Well, he's got immunity, but from political voting and whatnot. I'm not sure he's got the immunity from the people. I think he's going to have some problems. I was reading the one article today, real quick, that Trump understands that if he allows the 2016 election to happen, he's done. The House and the Senate will flip no matter what he does, because nobody trusts him anymore. and nobody trusts the politicians that are there. I think that, there was a movie called Revolution, based on the song by the Beatles, So You Want a Revolution, and in it they didn't trust anybody over 30. And I think we have to have something like that. I think anybody over 50 shouldn't be allowed in the White House. Because I think they stay there for 8 years. They come out, they're 60 years old, and I don't know what kind of shape they're in. I would put since for president, I would put it down at 58. That's as old as you can be. And I would go down age-wise to about 25. College graduate at 25, You don't need worldly experience to run the government, or to run a business for that matter. You need a set of balls, or a good speaking voice. Because I think, one of the people that I'm very fond of is AOC. Don't ask me to give you Ocasio, and I think she's I really, really like it. Like her. I don't know if she'd be any good really, but I think she's got some gumption. I think she's got some guts. She was a bartender like me, so in case you're interested, I was involved in the restaurant business for 38 years of my working career. A little finance before that, a little business ownership after that, but 38 years. Was a chef at one point in time, too. All right, let's see. Oh, man. People keep trying to put Trump in the same context as Hitler. That's kind of hard to do. I think Hitler was probably not as bad as Trump is, but we'll wait and see. All right, listen up. Monday. I've rambled on for a while. Let's go. I've got to do some domestic chores now. So why don't you guys just hit this, as you're, closing out the page, hit the subscribe button, please. I only have 17 subscribers right now. I would like to get 50 by Christmas, and I don't think I can do it, or by the end of the year, and I'm not sure I can do that. That doesn't get me any money. I think at one time I was told I had 2,000 subscribers, or get 2,000 views a day or something like that before I can get I can monetize my account. I think they brought it down around 250 views a day, and I don't even come close to that. The most I've ever had was 180 on one day, and I forgot what that one was about. All right, that's it, folks. See you tomorrow. Subscribe.